I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And together we are the
Two Crazy Cat Ladies.
I'm going to cut you.
I think I just peed.
Buckle up. We're back in the closet.
Welcome to another episode of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. Guys, this is a fun one.
This is an important
very
one.
Exciting and yes, very important podcast for us. And we are here with like the superhero women of the world.
Seriously though.
Seriously. And we're making a big announcement tonight to the cat community. So thank you all for joining us so much.
But let's start with the intro. It's been a minute since we've had some of you on, and Katie, I'm not sure we've ever had a live podcast.
You're a newbie to the podcast.
I love. Okay, so
my first live event, and I'm sure my children will bust through the door at any point. My apologies. If I mute or duck, you know what's going on.
Hold on.
Wait a second. This is your first live event
ever?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yes.
We're popping your cherry.
Yes, you are. I love it. I'm so honored to be doing it with you all. So thank you. I really am.
It just gave me little butterflies.
I've never done one. Jamie's like, you got to start doing these. And I'm thinking, I'll let you handle it.
Until Jamie. Sorry, sis.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do an intro for everyone that's wondering who all these beautiful people are that we're having so much fun with already. Dr. Katie Woodley, let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor, and I'm just so excited to be here because I love talking about poop, and poop can show us a lot of things about health, and it's easy to collect, and it gives us a lot of information about what's going on in your cat's body. So that's what I'm really excited about for today.
I love it.
Same.
Dr. Redmond.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were going to go Brady Bunch style. I'm Dr. Redmond. I'm the, feel like I should do this. That was good, Katie. I'm the Chief Science Officer at Innovative Pet Lab. And so I also love poop. I work with the other Katie. Is it this way? There. And we do Innovative Pet Lab. So we do poop testing to look at your cat's overall health. I came from the human world, but all human testing started out as pet testing. And so there's a lot of research on it.
I love it. I love it. Katie.
Hi, Katie Philippi. Hello. I have been with Innovative Pet Lab the last couple of years, and I work directly with our vet channel, our consumer channel, and I also do customer service. So if you ever have any questions or call or email, it will come to me. And I'm very excited to be talking with you all tonight about our new test.
Yay! And you're the only one that didn't mention poop. I love it.
I do love poop. I do.
It's a poop party.
Be clear about that.
Yeah. I'm really excited because you guys are doing something that literally no one else, to my knowledge, has done, which is testing the stress levels, the cortisol levels, the stress levels in our animals through their poop.
Well, and I think this is especially exciting because Jay and I talk a lot, and I know Dr. Katie Woodley, this Katie up here, you also talk about the impact that stress has on our cats. And sometimes cats are so stoic. Especially with cats, we don't know if they're stressed, right? Sometimes they may have behavioral issues but just as with humans, if our cats are chronically stressed, that does lead to disease processes. So it is really exciting now that you guys are launching. Dr. Redmond, I'm going to hand it over to you for this announcement.
Fecal cortisol. Ta-da! Same way. You just collect the poop and send it in. New cute box. So we're looking at fecal cortisol, and we picked. We're always looking for what's a great marker. What other things can we look for in stool? Because it's so easy to collect. We just like it. It's easier than urine or getting a blood draw or anything like that. So the benefit of fecal cortisol, just before we go, I guess, long term into it, or that you can get cortisol tested at your vet's office, and Katie can correct me if I'm off, but generally it's going to be in blood. And that's going to be immediate, like cortisol, what it is right then. And so salivary is a little bit longer because it mixes with the blood. And then stool's going to be longer. It's going to be in the week category. And you can do hair, and hair is probably longer, like weeks, months, but it has a lot of interference. So we picked fecal just because it's going to give you an average cortisol. So how stressed your cat may be on average. So
okay.
If there's a really stressful event, if you did a blood cortisol, you would see like, oh, they're really stressed out. But usually you're not going to be right there with the syringe to see how stressed they are.
Yeah, well, and when you think about cats, like what cat is not stressed at the vet getting their blood drawn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I would say, Dr. Woodley, have you done that where you've actually worked to try to find stress markers?
Well, it's interesting. So a lot of vets aren't actually using like the blood cortisol tests in the clinic because it is so short, so short lasting, right? And most pets are stressed when they go to the vet. So the question is, what are we actually looking for, right? Now, there's, a lot of times we're looking in terms of other markers, if we're going to have lots of inflammation, or if we're looking, we're concerned there's conditions like Cushing's, which is more common with dogs, and we can see elevated cortisol levels with that. But those are different tests that we do than, say, a biomarker like cortisol. And with cats, it's really impactful because, as Jay and Adrian mentioned, our cats are so stoic and they're sitting back there, and like Moki, he's sitting up in his cat tower, but he might be stressed that I'm like getting excited on a live or something, and I'm always on a live. And he's sitting there absorbing that stress. But even though he doesn't outwardly look stressed, it could still be impacting his body, because if cortisol is constantly elevated, the reason why it's there, we need it. It's like the fight or flight hormone. We need it to get away from danger, to fight off something that's attacking us. But then ideally we would go back to normal and that cortisol level drops. But the problem is that we live in such like a stressful environment now, and to no fault of anyone here, this is just kind of the way the world is. And so, yeah, I think all of us can agree to that, right? It's a bit chaotic and crazy. And so what can happen though is our pets get stuck in this fight or flight response. And all of a sudden we're seeing symptoms like GI issues like vomiting, over grooming, diarrhea, constipation, chronic ear infections because of the connection to the gut, because we're constantly diverting blood away from digestion to other areas because our cats' bodies think they're under stress all the time. So this biomarker is really impactful because now we have a way of looking and seeing, like, is my cat actually doing okay? And we have other biomarkers too with the innovative pet lab tests that can also showcase what's going on with the rest of the gut too, which is really, really important. But I know I work with a lot of pet parents who are like, I feel stressed, but I don't know if it's impacting my cat. And so it's so easy to just now collect a stool sample and get a better idea of like, oh, wow, okay, they are stressed. That's okay. I now know, so I can do something about it to support those stress levels. And that's the power of testing. We're not just guessing. And cats, they can be difficult to give a lot of supplements to. So you don't want to just throw more supplements on them because that can create more stress. Right. So this is really nice because now we have a much better idea of, is my cat actually stressed, or no, we're actually doing great. That's fantastic. Now I can move on to the next thing, right?
Right. Well, and I think like at this time of year, it's really important for our cats because it seems like at this time of year specifically is when we get more of the idiopathic issues like cystitis and blockages in male cats, which is all directly related to stress. And we're hearing from people almost every day now about that. So I think this is fantastic because it's something that we can do at home versus putting our cats through unneeded stress, possibly going to the vet and doing all kinds of other things. So can you guys, Katie or you, Dr. Redmond, could you guys tell us a little bit about how like easy this is?
Katie's actually got the cool test. Show us.
Show the test again.
This.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the test. It's new packaging, a little bit different than the way our others come, but it's as easy as any of the other tests at Innovative Pet Lab.
Same
So,
thing.
yep, just like Dr. Redmond has,
Get
you
it
just
in.
collect the stool. It can have litter on the sample. We love poop so much, we just go right to the center.
We have a core thing.
Yeah. And once you collect it, you just place it back in the provided box. We have a prepaid label that is also provided with each of our tests, and it guarantees your sample will get to our lab within the allotted time. And then our turnaround time is about 10 to 14 days once it's checked in at the lab. So the process is very easy. You get digital results, and we provide a range that, will let you know whether it's normal, borderline, or maybe high. And then we provide those recommendations to really help you start that journey of bringing them to a calm space, or trying your best to. And it's a great process.
And it's so non-invasive. I think that is the biggest thing. It doesn't require us packing up our cat and going in for testing. It is literally as simple as, and you guys also include the little rubber gloves still, right?
Yeah, we do. Everything is included. I'll kind of show you if I pull this apart.
I was saying,
Your cat won't even know you did it.
No, they won't. It's everything is included. Step-by-step instructions are right here. We walk you through exactly what to do. I know you can't read it, it's small here, but a nice new book. Here's your shipping label. Our baggie of goods is right here. So as Dr. Redmond had showed you, our tube, you just collect right up to that red line. So it's not a whole lot of sample that is required. We do have gloves and a stick. And then you pop it right in this bag and right back in the box, and you just put it in your mailbox.
I love
Easy
it
peasy.
so much. It is the only thing that can be, these guys are trying, sorry, you guys, for anyone listening to the podcast, they're trying to open our sock
It's
drawers
fine.
and
It's
mine
fine.
them out. What I love it is so non. The hardest part, I think, just as a heads up for anyone who does have multiple
It's okay.
cats, that you have to make sure you're getting the right sample, right? And then it's an easy process. So if you're cat shit crazy like I am, you try to catch your cats in the act at least, once or twice a month. So that makes it, easy to pick it out.
Well, and it's something we watch. I mean, I think probably all cat parents see their cats shit at some point, right? Like,
Grab the sample. Grab the sample with it.
Yeah, I mean we prefer to get it within 24 hours.
Yes.
And I mean, and then if you get it and you don't send it, just put it in the freezer and just keep it frozen. Your family won't mind.
It will not be mistaken. It will not be mistaken.
So, and then you can just mail it then. And I will say, besides just seeing if your pet is stressed, it's also like the level of stress. And then you can follow up with all those things. Like you can see, is that stress coming down? Is there an improvement? So you get an actual number.
Yeah. And Dr. Woodley touched on it a little bit. Like, why is it, why does stress matter for our pets? It's like when you look at how cats may be behaviorally or health-wise responding to stress, what is the benefit for someone that's like, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like blood sugar. You need some. It's got to feed your brain. So you want some. You just don't want too much. So you want to have that cortisol because it does more than just stress. And so even if you didn't have any stress, you still need cortisol because it's going to help with metabolism. It's going to help with inflammation. So there are some studies where they look at, cortisol. They see a cortisol, secretory IgA, and calprotectant kind of all fall together. Like they'll all go up and then all improve at the same time. So cortisol is involved in inflammation. So GI inflammation and other inflammation. So
wow.
So you want to make sure, because if you have, like Cushing's, which isn't as common obviously in cats, but some kind of condition where it's always really high, that's going to grate on the immune system. So a lot of those symptoms are going to be related to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important for us as like cat parents to understand that detection of the signs or the symptoms of stress in our cats is very difficult. Like it's not the same as in like Adrian always knows when I'm stressed out,
I
right?
sure do.
And and the cats always know when I'm stressed out, and like and there's an energy thing that goes on. But when it comes to us and understanding our cats, we had no idea for so long that a bored cat is a stress cat. A cat that is laying around and sleeping in your house very likely could be stressed because they're made to move and play, and so we hear from a lot of people, they're like, no, my cat's total chill, my cat's not stressed at all. And it's like, but are they?
Well, and speak to the test don't guess thing. I mean, I feel like all of us cat people are on a budget, right? So it's like, well, if we don't have a problem, but that is, I think, one of the fatal flaws for so many of us. And Dr. Woodley, speak to this. I feel like, especially with cats, we don't know something is wrong until it is very wrong. And oftentimes we miss that opportunity for early detection.
Right.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the proactive versus reactive approach, right? So this is where, these tests, we look at them and we're like, oh my gosh, it's another thing to budget for or pay for. But the beautiful thing, and the thing that I really love about IPL2 is like they've broken apart a lot of these tests and the biomarkers. So cortisol you can measure by itself if you can't do like a full panel. So you can at least get an idea, is my cat experiencing stress? And this is where this is my personal story with, autoimmune disease in my own family and being healthy. And then all of a sudden things broke. And once things break, they become a lot harder to get them back to good. And so, and this happens all the time with the pet parents I work with. That's why they come to me, because all of a sudden now there's something really wrong. And if we look at, the spectrum, I always say the spectrum of disease, we have optimal health and we have disease, and we're constantly moving along that spectrum every single day. And if we're not aware of certain things, to no fault of our own, just because we're not taught that usually, or we're just not aware, then we could be creeping closer to disease and it's not manifesting as a symptom. So like what Jay said, a bored cat can be a stress cat. And then all of a sudden we add on, say, if they're eating a certain type of food that has some inflammatory ingredients, or we give them a flea and tick preventative, and then we take them to the vet and then they get a vaccine, all of a sudden now we've pushed them all the way over here, and then something breaks. And that's where we see like, oh, now they're vomiting, or that, they have a urinary tract infection. And so if we can space out these tests if you need to financially, but at least set it up in a way for that proactive approach to get an idea of what is my cat's baseline, because then we can make little tweaks and adjustments that over time will make a huge difference to your cat's health and not be a huge financial burden or cost. It makes a massive difference. And that's where the magic is that proactive approach. You will spend less money in the long term being proactive with your cat's care and health. And now we're so lucky. I feel so grateful and lucky that we have so many of these functional medicine tests now that can actually identify where these imbalances are with our cats and our pets. So then we can fine tune the care that we give them. And cats, there's so many neat ways that we can support their health that don't involve huge costs, especially with stress. So it's a huge reason to be proactive, because I know personally that once health breaks, it sucks. Just to put it plain and simple. And I would love to go back and know about all these functional medicine tests to proactively see where our bodies were before waiting for them to break, to then have to learn about all these things and reactively try to fix it.
Right. Yeah.
On that proactive point, Dr. Redmond and Katie, you guys are, I think for people to understand why we're so excited about this, it's because this hasn't been a resource for us cat people or for pet parents, right? What was the impetus, or what made you guys just like, oh, we need this. People need this. Like, what a tool this is.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're always looking for markers that are going to be a good fit for us, that kind of match. And so, I'd seen some studies that looked at, calprotectin and secretory IgA, and they also had fecal cortisol. So then we start digging a little bit. And then, in some of those studies, which I don't normally find this, it's like, oh, they even have stuff on cats. They even included cats in this study, which they really don't. So a lot of times we're collecting data and we're trying to, we don't have anything to compare it to. So if somebody's done a whole bunch of studies, you can kind of compare, like they got about this range. And so we have that. So all the markers we do, even the ones that we're not offering in cats, we're always collecting, so we can get that. And then over time we can see, is this something we can offer to cat parents?
Where do you keep the poop?
In the freezer. It's in the deep freeze. So we date these when we get them. So we take out the poop we need. We actually don't need a whole bunch. They take it out and they put it in there. And then we have the dates and then we move them. So
Wow.
I love,
can keep it.
Interesting for you.
I love it though. But I mean, for all of us here, all of us people that aren't crazy brainiacs, I just love so much. And maybe, I don't know how difficult it would be to actually pull up some of the results, but the required intellectual capacity that the three of you have that are such a resource and that give us these tools that we can, that are really affordable, that we can use to better understand these beautiful little beings that we share our lives with. It is so exciting. And I think for us, like we were nervous for our cats to be tested.
We were real nervous.
Let's be honest, right? Like we know how much cats absorb their owners'
Stress
energy,
and
stress. Like that's something that studies have proven over and over again. I think it was Rodney Habib that said at one point, if you live a chronically stressed life or work in a chronically stressed environment, the best thing you can do for your pets when you come home is to take a shower and literally wash off your cortisol.
I've
right?
heard that also, like you can put, I've heard it in relationship to like dogs. Katie can tell me if I'm off on this, but they can, smell it on your breath. And that if you put a mint in your mouth, they won't be able to tell you're so worried about them if you're around like a mean dog. But I'm sure, I was going to attack her, but her breath is so minty. I think that
cats in vet school. So,
but I think, I would, taking a shower, brushing your teeth.
All right.
Yeah,
you learned
just
it
kinda
here.
washing it
Mints
off.
for me dog.
Well, I mean, if that dog's, I was just thinking of a mean dog, like self-protection, but like relating to your cat.
I think too, though, one of the big things here also is like, yes, you're changing your physiology too. I mean, how many times I look back at like my career and I like brought the vet clinic stress in through the door when I came home from work, not to mention all the smells and things, but it's one of those things when you change your physiology and you go through, you're changing that energy. It's a big difference. You mean your spouse, your partner, if you live with even another human, they're going to notice it. You can feel that energy, right? I'm sure everyone here can relate. Like your spouse walks in and you're like, ooh, hi, I'm going to go upstairs. Thank you. No words are said, right? And that's also too where like our cats, especially, I mean, I have 3 cats. And I know if I don't regulate my energy, my senior cat, she'll vomit. And there also will be redirected aggression too, if we're not managing ourselves or creating like a calm environment. And so they feel all of that. And a lot of times they're like, oh, I thought I was okay. And like, I always reference my cats are like my energy checkers. And so once I realized that, it's like, oh, okay, let me take some deep breaths. Let me ground myself. I need to turn the computer off. I need to stop working. I need to like just sit and do nothing. Things like that. Like, this is what I mean. It doesn't always cost something to manage stress.
Right.
It's more of the like breathing and regulating your nervous system, and your cats will feel it. And that's the beautiful thing about that, is that once we become aware of it, there's so many easy tools and techniques that you can use to not only help your cats, but it's also going to help you, and it's going to help your health, and you're going to feel better too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, like, some of the things we think of when cats are really stressed, dogs too, is kind of have a routine,
Yeah.
because that pets like to know what's happening. But that also is, if you're really stressed, they don't know exactly what you're going to do. I mean, are you, going to fly off the handle? Or are you just going to fall asleep? Is she going to be drunk again? I mean, so it's like, so then they can't really then they're so dependent on you. If your whole schedule's all off, that is stressful for them too. So
Yep.
that kind of builds on it.
Yeah,
It
it's true. It's
It
true.
is so true.
Dr. Redmond, Katie, Sally and Aaron from Mission Meow are here tonight in the comments, and they were just with Jamie and Lacey. Was it yesterday? They took selfies and sent it to us. Yeah, and they're still in Orlando. So they're and Sally said that she's sending in her test next week. So
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
some cat poop on the way.
That is awesome.
Like that. We like to see it come in.
Keep the freezer loaded.
Keep coming.
Well, and I think too, just even, in thinking about why we came up with stress tests or wanted to offer this to the community is there's such a connection to the gut and to overall health. And it's a lot of feedback, even coming from customer service or people that ask us questions and why should we use your test and what are the benefits? And it was just one more step to creating that overall, step in the direction of just health for our pets, right? And being proactive for our pets and recognizing that maybe they don't have inflammation or maybe they don't have leaky gut, but they could have stress, which eventually, Dr. Woodley, you could definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but could lead to some of those other things that could be really detrimental down the road or could be harmful down the road. So creating this was just another way to, broaden our test and broaden what we look at and help that community in general. And so it's such good to hear that feedback. Just meeting people in Orlando this week that have used our test or interested, they were really excited about this too. And then it's just so fun to get results and discuss it with everyone because it's just one more step in the health journey, which we're extremely passionate about.
I love
and
that.
you guys are so good at this. I do have to say, Katie, the fact I know that you wear many hats. Most people say to the IPL wear many hats. And you guys are really nose to the grindstone, always looking, but you listen to the community so well. And I love that you brought that up because it is, when you have people asking or how could we check, it's like, well, what could we do to create more answers, to provide more resources? I just love you guys so much for that.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Okay, I am going to try. I didn't prepare in advance, so I am going to try and see
If it goes dark, we'll be right back on.
if I am able to
Go to a window.
share
There
my.
you go. Yeah, because we
would just want to show you guys Jack's results
This is Jack William,
because he's okay.
but I want you guys to look. No, they were all except Annie had a high. Well, we could look at Annie's, but she was.
Can you guys see
high.
this?
Yes.
Okay, you can see
Okay.
this. All right.
Look over to the side. Look at you doing all the technology.
Isn't she good?
Can you kind of take us through this test a little? There's an explain results too.
But I love that for everyone listening to the podcast. I know that you can't see this, but the website that you have put together where you get your test results and it's all very
it's so easy to use.
navigate for each, especially with multiple pets. You guys do make it very easy to navigate and have individualized results that you can. Every section has a learn more on it. So.
Right. Yeah. So it's going to always just list what we're testing, what your actual result is, over to the side, color coded. It has like normal, borderline, and high, gives the little blurb, and then just talks about like a sentence on high, borderline, and normal. And then there's a tab for learn more. So all this test looks good. So this just has to make you, feel good. Like, okay, I'm meeting all the needs, and there's no inflammation, no big change in immune reaction. But the cortisol is at 1.61,
Right.
and the normal is 5.44 or lower.
Yeah, which is interesting because if you were to live in our house and look at our cat, other than Annie, of the four littles that we've got, sibling sets, you would probably think that Jack is the
Most stressed out.
because he jumps at like
He's like a little.
he jumps at like, you know, everything. You walk in and he isn't expecting
He's
you.
like-
He's like, you know, yeah, he's always on like alert. He's also like hilarious and talks a lot and things like that. But if you were just to watch our cats, you would think of the four, not Annie. If you were just to watch the other four, you would be like, Jack is the stressed out one, and he was actually.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got really
it was
good
actually
results.
good, which gives us peace of mind and lowers our stress levels.
Well, and just to clarify, for those that are actually watching this, the cortisol test is just this one test, right? We scrolled past some stuff. I don't want to.
Right. So you can add cortisol to, like, if you do the comprehensive, but you can just do it all by itself too.
Yeah.
You might have a
So-
comprehensive test.
Say that again, Katie.
She's
Katie's
looking for
going
a
to get-
comprehensive.
Yeah.
she's
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we did another live, which you guys could go back and watch on the comprehensive cat test as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's very valuable because it gives you all of, well, Dr. Betsy, if you could just talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
go
the,
Yeah, so if the cortisol was high, the first thing I would go then to look at would be calprotectin. So calprotectin is just looking at GI inflammation. It's, you know, white blood cells come into the intestines. So that's low too. So that's in the normal and low range. So most of these we're just looking to make sure they're not high. Some of them, like secretory IgA, if it's too low, that's a problem. If it's too high, that's also an issue. So secretory IgA, that's just the first line of defense at the gut lining. So if it's high, it is, reacting to something. And if it has long-term chronic responses, that's when it starts to go low. So it's just kind of worn out. Like I can't even respond anymore.
Maybe we can help Annie. She's got an outlier.
oh, she did.
Just-
Well,
we'll
here,
have-
I'll let you
we'll
do
have,
that, 'cause I'm trying to get out of it now.
We'll
Yeah,
have
and then we look at zonulin, which is going to be intestinal permeability, and then we look at gluten response.
So there we go. Her
Zonulin.
zonulin. Look at that girl. This is Annie's. These are Annie's results.
So I'm looking really, yeah. So that's
Well,
6. Is it, what's her
8.5,
8.59, and then the cutoff is 6, I think.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an increase in zonulin is a marker. Oh, you're gonna make me do it. That
This is our favorite.
like pickets on a fence. Like when you're thinking about the gut lining, all the cells are lined up, and they're hooked together with little tight junctions. They're throughout to kind of keep them, and then so they can regulate how they open and close. Because outside where the poop is outside the body. And your, intestinal lining is not going to just let anything in. So if the zonulin starts to become elevated, there could be some increase in the permeability of the gut. It's more concerning to me if calprotectin is also elevated, because those together can mean that there's increased inflammation and increased permeability. But if zonulin is the only one, I think that I would look at those type of, things like that can help, looking at, I'm sure that the diet's great, and then some certain supplements that can help with the gut lining.
What's not great in her diet is the plastic plants that she eats.
That'll do it.
We all have a vice.
Yeah.
But then here I was sure that
Very
Annie was
shocked
going to
by
be,
her cortisol levels.
and she's
Yeah,
0.12.
nice. Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah, but she's also one of those that like jerk, and like she's much like Jack in that way. But then she actually is also like Jack in the way that as soon as she realizes that she's not in trouble, she's like, I'm fine. I got this.
Oh,
We're in it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to say,
But I bet if we would have measured this a year ago,
it
or
may have been different.
even a year and a half ago, like when we first got her, I bet it would have a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah, no, I bet that's going to make a big difference. I mean, I know shelters are always looking for people to just foster the pets so they can really figure out what they're like, because pets aren't themselves at a shelter.
So they can
So.
actually be be.
Well, and that is one nice benefit of our test as well, is that you can follow the journey over time. So I'm sure Dr. Woodley can really touch on this, but you can actually see, okay, maybe it's in the borderline or it's out of range. And so we retest in 3 months to see whatever new protocol we might be trying, or enrichment or toys, especially with, cortisol and stress. You can actually see if it's working. You can see if their levels are coming down. You can see if they're increasing. Maybe we need to approach it differently, or, try something new. But that is one of, again, feedback from our customers, which I love so much. And I've heard Dr. Woodley talk about, and some others, that you can actually follow their journey, which I think is one of the best parts of our results.
Yeah.
I love that piece because, we do protocols and you're like, is it working? Like, sometimes you don't have any symptoms, right? And so it's a matter of also too, so many pet parents are spending a lot of money on supplements. They just keep adding more and more and more, and then they stay on them forever. And then I always get the question, well, how long do we use them for? And so it's really nice to have a test where you use a protocol to actually heal the thing that we know is off because we tested for it. And then we follow up and we go, oh, it actually worked. Fantastic. Okay. This we keep on, this one we can remove, and then we retest again down the road. Make sure everything is still okay. Because sometimes things will shift and adjust, which gives us more information. But I love having info because then it guides us to what supplements we need. And with cats are hard. I love cats, but they're hard. They're not like dogs where you can just like put whatever.
Yeah, you figure it out. Yeah.
Well, and you can create more stress, and you can put them off their food if you're adding supplements into the food bowl or the plate that many of us use. So it's one of those things where if I know what's off, I can better support that animal, and then we can retest. And there's so much peace of mind for my clients when they know that what they're using is actually working. And it's so much easier to create a plan moving forward for clients and for pet parents too. So Betsy, though, Dr. Redmond, I had a question for you because I know I saw a question a little while back. So let's say a pet has a really stressful episode, say like, right now we're in the winter time here, but let's go into like springtime. Thunderstorm season's a bad time for a lot of pets. How long do you say a set stressor that you feel like, I know my pet's stressed, but I want to see, have they recovered? Would you do it right away, or would you wait like a week or two, or kind of, are there some rough guidelines that like pet parents can follow?
Yeah, I think there's in the laboratory world, there's always this discussion on baseline and, what's baseline, but you're always the combination, your pet's the combination of everything that's happening. If you know they had a really stressful week of thunderstorms and that just freaked them out, if you want to see how freaked out a week or two of thunderstorms is, then you might want to see that and then compare it to a time where they go, a couple weeks, a month, that there's nothing really stressful. So you can see how stressed they get. So it really kind of depends. Anytime you do it, it's going to be a snapshot of, what has happened in the couple of weeks before.
Yeah.
So, and combined with what's their normal baseline.
Yeah.
I do, like, we often, and I think we'll have discounts tonight, but a lot of times, we'll say get a couple tests, so then you can follow up over time. Like, get them when they're on sale. Look at that.
Something.
Dr. Redmond, thank you for saying that, because these tests do not expire, y'all. You can get as many tests as you can with this incredible sale and do exactly as Katie was saying. How awesome. Like, when you look at doing something like this as part of an annual wellness check, you know what I mean? Something that we can really kind of see their journey and be able to adjust and be proactive along the way. It's fascinating. And before you tell them about this awesome sale, I know if you're watching, you can see it already on the ticker below you, but I think about the heartbreaking statistic. I think that is out there that less than 14% of cat parents bring their cats in for an annual wellness exam. And I think so often, like we said earlier, so often we don't know something's wrong until it's very wrong. I do love and I know that there's so many reasons that people don't get in. I mean,
Lots of reasons.
And busyness is our excuse when we're
Well,
like,
and
oh,
the
it's been a
stress,
year and a half.
the stress of it is one of the main reasons,
Stress of it
right?
is
It's like, if if they were dogs and they loved going on rides with you and they
Right.
then
They loved the vet and it
that's
was the most
easier
fun.
versus like, okay, now you got to get in a carrier and I'm going to take you in the car, which you hate, and then we're going to,
Just a bad afternoon. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So you see their little eyes. I have a cat, Max, and he like just looks at me like, "What are you doing? Why are you taking me out of my bubble?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They-
Exactly.
So I love that there's resources like this that, for those of us that maybe think that we have many hurdles to even get to the vet, these are the non-invasive, affordable things that we can do
At home.
at home that can really help us be proactive. Not that takes the
Yeah, I
place of
mean,
it, but-
but then you can take these results to your vet, right? And then you can show these. So
Yes.
then we're getting like when you do go to the vet, then you're getting a lot more, and your vet's getting a lot more information to correctly be able to help your cat if you have these things to.
Yeah. I mean, our tests, we don't consider them diagnostics. Like if your cat had Cushing's, you wouldn't go get a fecal thing online to do yourself and decide. But your vet, if you had certain symptoms and you said, I took this test and it was really high, it would give them a place to start. Like then they would move to the next one,
it is
the diagnostic.
I wanted to say something too, as a veterinarian and working with a lot of pet parents who also work with conventional veterinarians who may not be aware of these tests and the research behind these tests. Innovative Pet Lab has awesome resources around research articles. So sharing that with your veterinarian when you send them the lab results is really powerful and really helpful, because I know my veterinary colleagues, we want to see data, we want to see research. And that's the beautiful thing around these tests, is that there is research that shows how they work and how it can benefit our pets. And so that also makes it easier to introduce some of these functional medicine tests that your vet may not be aware of, to make that conversation with them much easier.
so such an
Such,
important.
yeah.
Okay, people are getting anxious in the comments. Katie, will you share this?
Link is in the description for everyone.
Yeah, the link is in the
Yeah.
description for
Katie,
everyone
tell
that's
us a
watching,
little
but
bit about
yes.
this 48-hour notice.
This flash sale. Okay, so essentially, if you go onto our website, we are offering 25% off any of our tests.
Say that again.
That you purchase
25.
25% off, 48
Any
hours
test.
only. It is hot. Get it while it's hot. But what we're going to throw in is the stress test to your results. So what we'll essentially do is, if you order the comprehensive gut check for cats, you type in the code STRESSLESS, and then you'll get 25% off your order. And then we will also add the cortisol marker to your results. So you won't receive 2 separate tests. I have gotten that question quite a bit. You just will get the test you order. And then when you send in your sample to our lab, it will flag us to add cortisol to your results. And that's a $79 value. So our cortisol test is $79. So to get that for free and add it on to your results is awesome. Do it.
Love
I
it.
feel like I'm on HSN.
No, I feel like it is. I mean, that is in addition. So 25% off whatever test kit they buy.
Whatever test kit they buy.
$80 test included.
Yes,
This
exactly.
is really generous of you guys. This is big.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. We're
Your
happy to share this
I
test.
mean, it's like a bigger than a Black Friday sale. Come on.
Yes.
It's really huge, and it's the end of January. Like 25% off plus a free cortisol test added
love
or
this.
marker added onto it. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. So 48 hours. So go.
Oh, we love
ticking.
your communities. We love the pet community, and we want to be able to just help in any way we can. So this is just a little something that we can do. And we're really excited about this test and offering it.
I love it so much. And anyone who is feeling like we were, don't be scared of the results. There was a part of me that was like, I don't know if I want to know, that kind of feeling.
It's better to know.
It is empowering to know, and so often it is so much less scary to know. So I just,
Right. I mean, we did these markers because they're actionable.
Yep.
You know, so you can do things to try to improve them.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
And you can follow the journey. I love that there's this, like Annie is obviously going to be getting retested to see if we can fix some of her markers there. And it's wonderful to have this tool. So I'm so grateful for all of you, for all the knowledge and for all the resources.
And
we're
for coming
literally-
up with this, like, I
Yeah.
mean, and being able to come up with this as I know, baby.
Oh, he's excited too, or he. Is that Doro?
It's Friday.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
Friday.
But to be able to to think about cats in this, I mean,
Yeah.
we're just really grateful because there's so much out there in the world for dogs, and it's usually the cats are kind of left behind, that they're a little bit
They're like, "We don't
harder
really
to
know."
test. There's a little bit harder to figure things out. And like you said, Dr. Redmond, with there's not a lot of studies, and there's not so we're very grateful that you guys brought this to the cat world too. Thank you.
yeah, but you guys are the ones like who said, "Hey, what about cats?" When we started with dogs, and then we got all these cat people saying, "Hey, what about cats?" And we're like, "Oh, you're right." So, and then we started digging, and then it's like, "Hey, oh, look at that! Wow, that's some closet."
That's amazing.
That's the
Closet.
bat signal for cat people to speak up. Like, yes, we need resources too. I love Monica just wrote in the comments, runs to look for poop in all the boxes. I got to tell you, it is that's kind of a fun part, is the poop hunt. Where you making sure everybody.
It is a hunt. That is for sure.
It is a hunt. Yeah.
I'll leave that up to Adrian since she
Yeah.
thinks it's fun.
I don't know if I agree with that, Adrian. I'm not going to lie.
I'm thinking it's a certain type of personality who's going to say that's fun.
I love that,
I
like,
just love doing my
adults
taxes and looking for cat
Yeah.
poop.
I gotta tell you though, Jack, I got all the samples for all except for Jack, like within a few days. And then Jack William was just like secret pooping. Oh,
I got worried. I was like, really? You haven't seen him poop? And then it's like 2-3 weeks. I'm like, is he pooping? Is he constipated?
And he's that cat that will like announce. He'll just be like, "Meow, meow, 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 meow." He's like, "Well, I have to use the bathroom," and he will announce when he has to go. So I literally beseeched him after almost a month of not getting. I was like, "Dude, will you please poop for me?" And you were there when he did it. He started quacking away and then walked in the box. And made it.
I would do it.
Drop
He
the
was like, "Fine, all right."
I for sure thought my cat's test would be like positive for cortisol, because I think I just followed him wherever he went. And he was like,
What?
please leave me alone. I'm like, I need your poop, buddy. I need your poop.
Katie has a cat because she was like, "I'll get a cat when it shows up at my door," and then a cat showed up at her door.
Well, that's the cat distribution system. So you literally asked the universe for it.
We put it out there for a long time, and Mad Max, as we call him, showed up. Sure enough, and he's perfect. He's so
Matt.
I love it.
he's perfect.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the distribution system is real.
That's why there's 3 in my house.
That's why
Sometimes
there's
it's very
5 here.
specific.
Yeah.
You have
I'm ready for another.
Oh, here,
Oh,
just
and you said
clock's
it.
ticking.
There you
I
go.
know,
Tomorrow,
I know.
I'm looking forward to the text tomorrow about the new kitten and the in the bush or something.
Yes.
Can you keep it?
Nope, you asked for it.
Oh,
All right. So
Yes.
Sissy is dropping. Thank you so much, Sissy. She is dropping the link to the stress test and cats. Now, remember, this is 25% off whatever test you want to get, and they are graciously adding on that cortisol test.
For
or
free.
if they wanted to, they could just get that cortisol. But
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so excited for all of you to try this and get some.
Yeah, keep us
results.
posted. Let us know, for all of you guys that try this out. Let us know the results that you get. Reach out if you need any help. Katie is amazing, and she can
Yeah,
give you
you
all
do.
kinds of great advice, and she knows poop inside and out, literally. So thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you
Again,
all.
48 hours, and today is January 29th. You've got 48 hours to take 25% off any gut health test and get the stress test added on for free using the coupon code STRESSLESS, all
Did we forget
together.
anything?
STRESSLESS. Link is in the description here on Facebook and YouTube. And I will drop it in the podcast link as well.
Anything top of mind that we missed, ladies?
No, I think we got it all.
Thank you.
And I think the biggest thing, like you said earlier, is don't be afraid of test results because you can do something with them and you have so much support between all three of us here of what you can do to support your cats. If something comes back a little bit off, that's the beautiful thing about these tests.
Yes. So,
Knowledge.
guys,
Knowledge
thank you
is
all.
power.
Happy,
Thank you all so
happy
much.
Wednesday or happy whatever day you're listening. And we will see you all very soon.
We will
Wait.
see.
We will see Dr. Katie next week on our podcast.
Yes.
Yay.
Joining us to give you all the hacks on dental health for cats.
Oh, it's gonna be a good
next Wednesday, 5 p.m.
one.
Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So don't miss that one. And we will see you all very soon.
Love you guys so
Okay.
much.
Bye, you guys. Thank
All right.
you.